Your phone isn't just wasting your time. It's quietly rewiring your brain to hate effort. You tell yourself you'll only check one notification. You sit down to study, open the book, and 30 seconds later, your hand moves on its own. Screen lights up, a message, a reel, a new post. You scroll for a minute, then another. 2 hours disappear. Same thing at work. You open your laptop to finish one task. Bing! You check just for a second. By the time you look up, your focus is gone, and your brain feels foggy and restless. And you call it procrastination, lack of discipline. I'm just lazy. But that's not what's happening. Your phone is running a 24/7 experiment on your nervous system. Every swipe, every notification, every short video is flooding your brain with dopamine and training it to reject anything that feels slow, quiet, or difficult. In this video, you'll see exactly how that hijack works, and you'll get a step-by-step protocol to take your dopamine system back under your control. If you're tired of losing your day to this device, subscribe to Neural Discipline Mode and tell me in the comments which app steals the most of your time right now.
Ethan is 23. He thinks he has a discipline problem. His alarm goes off at 7 a.m. Before he's even fully awake, his thumb is on the screen. Notifications, messages from last night, a few snaps, a reel his friend sent. You have to see this, bro. He tells himself he'll scroll for 2 minutes before getting out of bed. 15 minutes vanish. He walks to the kitchen with his phone in his hand. Breakfast isn't breakfast anymore, it's background noise. One hand on the spoon, the other hand refreshing 3 different feeds. By the time he's done eating, his brain has already seen more faces, colors, and microdramas than someone 100 years ago saw in a week. Later, he sits down to study. Laptop open, notes ready, phone next to the keyboard, face up, just in case. Within 10 minutes, he's cycling notes to notification, to YouTube, back to notes, quick check of DMs, one short video, notes again. Every switch feels tiny, harmless, but after an hour, he's finished almost nothing, and his brain feels like static. At night, he lies in bed and tells himself he'll be different tomorrow. He blames himself. I'm lazy. I have no focus. Something's wrong with me. But here's the truth. Ethan isn't the problem. He's the product. None of this is accidental. Every ping, every red badge, every infinite scroll is part of an invisible experiment run by billion-dollar companies. They measure how long you stare, where you tap, what makes you stop, what makes you come back. Then they adjust the system to keep you hooked a little longer tomorrow. Every swipe becomes a data point. Every hesitation becomes a test result. The goal is simple: more engagement, more time, more of your attention. You're not lazy. You're overstimulated by a system built to keep you that way. And until you see that clearly, you'll keep fighting yourself instead of fighting the experiment that's being run on your brain.
To understand what your phone is doing to you, you first have to understand what dopamine actually is. Most people think dopamine is pleasure juice. It isn't. Dopamine is your brain's pay attention chemical. It's the signal that says, hey, this might be important. Move toward this. Do it again. When dopamine is low, everything feels heavy. Reading, working out, even answering a message feels like a chore. When dopamine spikes, things feel exciting, urgent, addictive. Your brain has a baseline level of dopamine, a quiet background hum that keeps you functioning. On top of that, you get spikes every time something interesting happens: a notification, a joke, a like, a new video. Here's where it gets dangerous. Your brain doesn't react the same way to every reward. If a reward is predictable, you know exactly what's coming and when, you get a small, controlled rise in dopamine. But when the reward is unpredictable, maybe you'll get something good, maybe you won't, the dopamine response explodes. That's called reward prediction error. It's the same trick casinos use. Every pull of the slot machine might be nothing, or it might be a jackpot. That maybe is what keeps people there for hours. Inside your brain, simple reward circuits respond to these spikes, and sitting on top of them is your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that can plan, resist impulses, make good decisions, self-control. But your prefrontal cortex is slow and uses a lot of energy. The dopamine circuits are fast and automatic, and your brain, like any efficient machine, chases whatever gives the biggest spike for the smallest effort. Right now, your phone is winning that contest every single time.
So how does your phone turn that dopamine system against you? By copying a casino. Think about the way your apps are designed. You open a feed and you never reach the end. There's no last page, no natural stopping point. That's not an accident. That's infinite scroll, the digital version of a slot machine that never runs out of spins. You pull your thumb down to refresh. That tiny gesture is the same action as pulling a lever. Sometimes you see nothing interesting. Sometimes there's a new message, a crazy video, a dramatic post. That's pull to refresh, a slot handle built into your hand. Those little red notification badges, they're not red because it looks nice. Red is the color your brain associates with danger and urgency. Your dopamine system treats them like tiny alarms. Something's happening, you might be missing out. Then there's the feed itself. One post is boring, the next is hilarious, then something shocking, then something inspiring. You never know what's coming next. This is a variable reward schedule. Every swipe is a maybe nothing, maybe a hit. Just like a slot machine, every refresh is a small gamble, and every time you win, your brain gets paid in dopamine. Here's what that looks like from the inside. Ping, you check your phone. Maybe there's a notification, maybe not. If there is, you get a quick spike. If it's boring, you scroll a little to find something better. Short hit, tiny rush. Then you put the phone down and go back to your work. But your brain has changed. Compared to the fast, bright, unpredictable world on your screen, your task now feels flat. So 30 seconds later, you feel a vague itch. You check again. Ping, check, maybe reward, small hit, back to task, even more bored. That's the micro loop you repeat dozens, hundreds of times a day. Over time, your brain starts to expect constant novelty. Silence feels wrong. Stillness feels wrong. A single page of text with no movement, it feels like torture compared to a feed that updates every second. Books, deep work, real conversations, even sitting alone with your thoughts, all the things that build your life start to feel painfully slow and empty. Nothing is actually wrong with those things. Your dopamine system is just calibrated to a different world, a world where everything is loud, fast, and endless. And that's why when you finally try to focus, it feels like you're fighting against your own brain.
When your brain lives in that casino all day, something else starts to happen. It builds tolerance. The more often you flood your reward system with fast, cheap stimulation, the less sensitive it becomes. What used to feel exciting now feels normal. So you need more intensity, more speed, more volume, just to feel anything at all. You've probably felt this. You sit down to watch a movie, something you actually like. 10 minutes in, Your hand reaches for your phone. Now you're watching the movie and scrolling at the same time. One screen isn't enough anymore. You try to study, books open, laptop on, but you can't start until the playlist is ready, snacks are in reach, and your phone is close in case something important happens. Music, food, phone, tabs. You're stacking stimulation on stimulation just to tolerate doing a single task. The moment nothing moves, you feel it, that restless itch. 30 seconds of silence and your brain screams for input. You're not bored because your life is empty. You're bored because your dopamine threshold is sky high. On the inside, this looks like a simple war. On one side, you have your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that can say, stay with this, finish the chapter, ignore the ping. It's powerful, but it's slow, and it burns a lot of energy. On the other side, you have those fast reward circuits that light up every time something new appears on your screen. They don't think, they just fire. Check, click, scroll, repeat. All day, you're forcing your prefrontal cortex to fight a battle it was never designed to fight this often. Every "should I check my phone or not" is a tiny decision. Each decision drains a little more willpower. By the afternoon, your self-control is exhausted. The fast circuits win by default. You're back in the loop, not because you chose it, but because your brain has no energy left to resist. And then you judge yourself. You call yourself weak, lazy, disciplined. You think other people are just built different. But you're not weak. Your brain has been running at max volume all day, hit after hit after hit. Work, reading, deep conversations, they don't feel impossible because you're broken. They feel impossible because, compared to your feed, everything else is silent. If you want your focus back, you don't need more motivation. You need to turn the volume down. Now that you see the problem, the question is, what do you do about it? You can't throw your phone in a river. You need it for work, for family, for basic life. And honestly, that kind of extreme dopamine detox almost never lasts. We're not trying to quit dopamine. You can't. Dopamine is how your brain moves. What we are going to do is lower the floor, so normal life, real work, real progress start to feel rewarding again. Think of it like this. Right now, your speakers are turned up to 100. We're not unplugging the system. We're turning the volume down to 40 so you can hear other sounds. I call this the Dopamine Floor Protocol. Try it for 7 to 14 days and you will feel the difference. Step 1. The non-negotiable morning block. For the first 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up, no phone. Not less phone, not only a few minutes, 0. If you absolutely need it for an alarm, put it across the room, turn it off, and don't unlock it. Why is this so important? Because mornings set your baseline. The very first hits of dopamine you give your brain tell it what kind of day to expect. If your first input is bright, fast, chaotic, your brain sets the bar there. Everything slower will feel wrong. Instead, use that first hour for offline things. Make your bed, drink water, stretch or walk, journal, plan your day. Simple, quiet actions. You'll feel a little restless at first. That's your tolerance complaining. Stay with it. You're teaching your nervous system what normal feels like again. Step 2. 2 phone windows per day. Your phone isn't banned, it's scheduled. Choose 2 windows of about 30 minutes each where you're allowed to do all the random phone things. Social media, DMs, news, YouTube, whatever. For example, 1 to 1:30 p.m., 7:30 to 8 p.m. Outside of those windows, the rule is simple. If you don't need your phone for a specific task, it stays face down, out of reach. This does two things. It stops the constant micro-loops. It forces your brain to wait for stimulation. At first, you'll catch your hand reaching for the phone automatically. That's the habit circuit firing. Each time you notice and don't pick it up, you're weakening that circuit.
Step 3. Kill the casino features. Next, we remove the slot machine design as much as possible. Do 3 things. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Keep calls and maybe messages. Disable someone liked, posted, uploaded alerts. Your brain doesn't need a siren every time someone sneezes online. Move social apps off your home screen. Put them in a folder on the 2nd or 3rd page. Make opening them a conscious choice, not a reflex. Grayscale those apps or your whole phone. Color is a big part of the hook. When everything is black and white, your feeds suddenly look a lot less exciting. And for at least 7 days, delete or log out of pure short-form dopamine machines, TikTok, Shorts-only apps, endless reels. You can always install later, but give your brain a full week without that level of speed. You're not missing out. You're rebuilding your ability to enjoy anything slower than a slot machine. Step 4. Install hard work rewards. Right now, dopamine comes before effort. You scroll to feel ready to work. Result? You never really start. We're going to flip that. Choose one deep work block each day, 60 to 90 minutes of focused effort. Study, build, write, code, gym, whatever matters most. The rule: no entertainment dopamine until after that block is complete. Only when you finish do you give yourself a small reward. 5 to 10 minutes of scrolling, 1 episode of something short, a snack you like, music and a walk. By pairing reward after work, you're retraining your brain. Effort, progress, then dopamine. Over days and weeks, your brain starts to associate that task with the good feeling that comes afterward. The work itself becomes less painful because your nervous system expects a payoff. Step 5. Track 3 metrics. To make this real, you need proof that you're changing. Track just 3 numbers every day. Minutes of deep work. Anytime you focus on one hard thing, no switching. Add up the total. Number of phone pickups. Many phones track this automatically. Just write down the daily total. Sleep time. When you actually went to bed, not when you said you would. You don't need perfect numbers. You just need trend. After a week of the Dopamine Floor Protocol, you'll start to see something. Deep work minutes creeping up, pickups slowly dropping, sleep getting slightly more consistent. Those numbers are more than data. They're evidence. Evidence that you are not just a victim of your phone. Evidence that you can direct your own brain. And every day you write them down, you're sending yourself a message. I take this seriously. I'm not just consuming information, I'm changing my wiring. That's how self-respect is built, not from motivation speeches, but from small, hard proofs that you keep your word to yourself. After a couple of weeks on the Dopamine Floor Protocol, something subtle starts to change. At first, you'll just notice that the itch to check your phone is still there, but it doesn't scream as loudly. It comes in short waves instead of constant noise. You sit down to work, and for the first 10 minutes, your brain complains. You want music, a snack, a scroll. But then you get through a page, or you finish one small section of code, or you hit the 10th rep in a set you didn't want to start. And there it is, a different kind of dopamine. Not the bright, frantic spike you get from a notification, a quieter hit, a small wave of satisfaction that says, I did that. This is effort dopamine, the reward your brain gives you not for consuming something, but for building something. Finish a page, tiny hit.
Close a 60-minute focus block? Bigger hit. Go to the gym when you didn't feel like it? You walk out feeling lighter, more awake. The chemistry is the same molecule, but the wiring is completely different. When you keep the dopamine floor protocol for 2 to 3 weeks, your boredom tolerance goes up. Sitting in silence doesn't feel like torture anymore. Real tasks start to feel less painful. The first 5 minutes are still hard, but once you get moving, your brain doesn't fight as much. The urge to grab your phone shows up, but it's weaker and shorter. You can see it, breathe, and let it pass. This is when you add a simple rule. Every time you feel the urge to scroll for no reason, do one tiny building action instead. Examples: reach for your phone, do 10 push-ups first. Scroll urge while studying, write 1 paragraph instead. Bored in bed, read 1 page of a real book before touching the screen. You're not trying to become perfect, you're just redirecting that impulse from consumption to creation. Every time you do this, you're teaching your brain a new association. Boredom equals opportunity to make progress. Bit by bit, your dopamine system starts to prefer the feeling of getting something done over the empty high of another clip. You're no longer a passive target for algorithms. You're an operator, using your own chemistry on purpose. You're not just breaking a phone habit, you're training your brain to crave progress instead of pixels. Right now, you have a choice between 2 versions of yourself. The first is the scroller. The scroller reacts to every ping. Their day is sliced into tiny fragments of attention. They don't decide when they rest, when they work, when they think. The feed decides. They open their phone for a second and wake up an hour later with no idea where their time or their energy actually went. The second is the operator. The operator still uses a phone. They text, they call, they watch content, they enjoy it, but they decide when. Their phone doesn't live in their hand. It waits until it's called for. They get their deep work done, they train, they build, and then they collect the reward. Same device, 2 completely different identities. In the end, it comes down to this. Your phone will either be your leash or your weapon. You decide which. If you've watched this far, you already know which one you want to be. So don't just close this video and open another tab. Pick a date, today, tomorrow morning at the latest, and mark it as day 1 of your dopamine floor protocol. Commit to a phone-free first hour, 2 controlled phone windows, killing the casino features, rewarding effort, not avoidance. Then scroll down and comment your start date. Day 1, X, your date. That comment is your public declaration. It's the moment you stop being just another scroller and start operating your own brain on purpose. If you're ready to take this further, watch the video on my channel about building neural discipline mode, the 90-day system that turns willpower into autopilot. The experiment on your attention is already running. The only question now is, are you the subject or the one in control?